she's just a character, right? Or is she a spy? Ah, is she haunted? Multiple personalities. Maybe an exceptional actress caught in a role she didn't audition for. But here's the twist. What if her game is actually yours? Every scene, every word, every glitch you ignore, that's all a clue. There are no coincidences, and nothing here is ever random. If you haven't figured it out yet, ask yourself why not. Start paying attention to what triggers you, because that might be the exact thing you've been missing. Welcome to the game.
So, hi guys. I didn't know what challenge I was in when I started this, in a way, but at the same time, I did, if that makes sense. I guess I've been looking for my people my whole life too. I guess we've been in the game of respect, value, self-love, caring, getting over guilt, realizing that we're allowed to have fun in the world, but we like to have fun in like the geekiest ways. It's like, who's gonna run the world? Us. Funny, like really, it's like hypocritical and ironic, but like really the perspective of, okay, let's take this Comic-Con thing, right? Like it myself, I never got involved, like my life and my things, I wasn't into comic books, anything. None of that. I don't know or have time for that. Like my brother was into he did like Warcraft. He was very good, very artistic. He made those little figurines, this and that. Somebody like my dad criticized him, made fun of him. Somebody like my dad, who's like an insecure man, like said, because it's got to be business and there's no future in that and everything else, whatever. But that thinking, like he would really bully my brother and make fun of him. And that's kind of a metaphor, though, like that mentality and those things. Like, so if you look a certain way. But what do we want to run it for? A better world. We want to be the guys that help other people and the girls that do that too. But we're tired of, we're tired. We're all tired. I'm tired. My husband's tired. I'm so tired of pretending. I can be myself around my husband. I absolutely can. He's the best person in the world. But I felt like such a bad mother. Or you do a certain thing, so it's like on the high end. So if you become famous, right, like, or you do the acting on higher level for whatever things like Harry Potter, The Witcher, whatever, the super, like the DC comic books, the Marvel stuff, any of that stuff that's like over the years became more famous. But like think about like that, the fan base and what that is, and how powerful it is. However, like people like my dad and that mentality like make fun of it. Or like I've known people to go, oh yeah, like it's like known people really, oh, it's cool because when they're acting or different things and they look a certain way, and then it's like the respecting to be in the role, but then the fans make fun of them more. Or Star Wars, like think about how big, like, oh, what geeks are to follow that and whatever else, right? Because I've been so broken, I didn't know how to be a good one. Because I felt so selfish. I thought there was always something wrong with me, and I was always trying to fix it in some way. And I have so many different types of friends because I can only show myself to the world in one way at a time. And it's why I'm so good at it. And that's why you guys are too.
every one of you. You know, when the challenge started, only, 6 days ago now,
but if you look a certain way, really, like if somebody came to my mind that's a customer, him and his friend, if they're partners, they live together. I don't know their dynamic, and to be honest, I don't spend any time thinking about people's stuff. Like I don't, right? He's a nice guy. He's always a nice guy. Both of them in wheelchairs, but like totally into, you know, like the like fantasy type stuff, right? And you know how people would make fun of that, but that's like an escapism and a beautiful thing, and like but historically we make fun of that, and the what on one side, if you look a certain way and you're a certain way, then that's like super geek, and then on another side though, then it's super cool depending on what the outside appearance is.
I wasn't sure what I was starting. I just knew I liked you guys, if that makes sense, and all of you. And then, you know, it started with, okay, it's gonna be, because I told myself last year my intentions were to make over $100,000 last year. I told myself that's my worth, because I have been like consciously trying to work on myself, and I've created, and like the storytelling for me I was learning to be my fun, and I needed it more and more, and I was never comfortable with isolation in the beginning. I thought I always had to please people, so I was always putting myself in situations where I needed to please, right? And then after I realized that,
which is such a fucking shame. Like it really is such a fucking shame, and it's anyone who's ever criticized or made fun of that should fucking feel so humiliated and ashamed of themselves. I'm gonna pick on Hollywood in particular in this moment, and then how that relates, and how people. It doesn't matter what industry, but it's gonna be an example of Hollywood, because in industry, right, we do this. You get to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. So, for example, take comic books or these witch thing, like whatever, like I say Hollywood, but the TV series, the witch stuff, the fantasies, all of that fantasy type stuff, right? Comic book put in the same category. So it's built this massive success thing, right? But what does it get? Like, so on a low level, like mass level, whoa, it's so successful and everything else. But then as you go up the ladder, closer and closer, then what? You know, so you know, if you're an actor and one of those, like, so if you're just a fan, you're a fan, right? Like like you need those, right? That wasn't healthy for me either. I was trying to work on myself, and I started that, I guess, when I was about 13. Yeah, when I was about 13 years old. Because, not 12 or 13, because I didn't have a self-worth. But I know there was something else out there. Call it God, call it spirituality, call it a connection, call it, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But I do believe it exists. And now that I know it exists and I'm confident in it, I see the world more fun. And I was starting to enjoy myself, and I was starting to enjoy my own company, because I was starting to create. I was starting to create things in my mind, and making it a reality became a game for me. And I didn't even know I was playing it until you guys made me realize that 6 days ago. And I realized, don't just fan, they could be doing other things, or that becomes their whole life. You change their life. That's a beautiful thing. Give somebody hope. That's a beautiful thing. Somewhere to go, somebody to buy into your stuff. That's a beautiful thing, right? Go up the chain a little bit, and then what do you have? The people playing those roles, people that are in costume, people that are whatever else. But then all of a sudden now, as you get higher and higher up, oh, that's a certain type of movie, so we're gonna do, like that's not, like, this is where it gets snobby. The artistic, well, that's not this, that's not that, and then everybody's pinned against each other, right, in this process. Well, that's not this, or that's not this type of acting, or that's not this, like the judgments and the hate that come at everybody.
Realized my husband's been playing it too in his own way. He's incredibly strong, but I was lacking, like, listening to him, like, in the way I've been holding him back. So because I've been
holding that back because I was too, so afraid of losing him, because he was the only one I ever felt, he started, I think, that with the connection we first had, right? Like we it was just something about it. Is it love at first sight? Is it, I don't know what you want to, like, I just knew I loved him so much. And the journey we went on together over, in our time too, was up and down, because it was constant tests. And that's only, due to self-worth. And then when I finally started, like, he's worth loving, when that started, I said, no, I wanted to be a better person. And that motivated me to be a better person, because I wanted his love. And when, at times that I felt rejected by him, I would self-sabotage.
From all over the place. Like, it doesn't stop, really, and everybody doing it to each other. And that's how, and that's an example of just, so one type of, so you have, in movies, different types of movies, right? Like, you have horror, you have, more drama, you have whatever. And traditionally, like, the foreign press, right? Like, that's why we don't recognize comedies in the same category and level of acting. Ironically, though, comedians it's how hard it is to be a comedian.
I would self-sabotage because that's who I thought would be the one to save me. I thought he would save me. But, I said, well, if he values only beauty, then I needed to be more beautiful.
How difficult it is for somebody. So that gets put into a different category that doesn't get recognized either. And then all of these things get all mixed up because of what? Well, really, culture, Hollywood, come on, where does this come from? Where does the foreign press's fucking attitude come from? The power of wanting to manipulate people against each other too, for sure. Absolutely. The artists looking down their nose because you don't have a certain type of education or a certain type of thing, and it's a way to divide. And anybody that's been in this fucking category should be so ashamed of themselves, and that's what your Oscars were based on.
But instead, I would get worse. But then he would make me better, because he would prove to me that wasn't my value, and he's shown love on all sides at times, and we were tested so many times, but he's passed. He loves me always. It doesn't matter what I look like. And then, in a relationship, when I was abused sexually when I was young.
That's what your award shows are based on. Not just Hollywood, the music industry, different things. To pin you guys against each other and see who takes the bait. And you all fell in that category, didn't you? I'm not going to say who, what, how I know, or why. Just know I know. And you should all be embarrassed. Humiliated, actually. Why am I not saying anything? Because I have a belief. I have a belief and a faith.
I think it started around 6. I'm not sure. I can't remember. He took my self-worth so young. I thought my only value was in my body. Was to give it to other people. But it's not. I realize I'm in control of my body. It's mine, and I can only share it. I only want to share it in one way with one person, and that makes me happy. And that's reserved for my husband. And that makes me feel good because it makes me feel like I have a partner and I feel loved. But however, that still comes from me because it's my decisions. It's my body.
That you can do better now. I've had visions of it. But in my reality, it has not happened. And that's true, and you know that. But it's been very disappointing to see. So if anyone ever thought for a second that you're better than anyone else in any of your little groups or categories, I guess that was Stan's plan all along in the script, is to take it all away from you. How do you do?
And I found my partner. I have a beautiful daughter. My husband has a beautiful daughter. And I was previously married. And I made a lot of mistakes. Because I just wasn't happy. I was trying to find me, and that's okay. And then I forgave myself because I beat myself up for my mistakes for many years. But the one thing I would never do is take away. The one thing I did see when I left my first husband was I saw his love for his daughter. And I never wanted to take that away from him because that's unfair. And I sacrificed myself to the connection I had with her.
Truth, what am I doing with these letters, right? Like, so I had built, a good business. I really, with this network marketing thing, right? So I did really well, but I did it the organic way, and I helped people and everything.
And I hated myself for it. I hated myself for it. I hated myself for oh God.
Anything else, and I won't do that. And then I was taken for granted, and that's the thing. So I did all this work, I'm making this money. Why didn't it continue? Because of a system. So if I'm not doing it or whatever else, just like if Isabel stops, she'd be fucked. Like she hasn't built up enough leaders because she doesn't know how to duplicate herself.
I hated myself for it it's the time she was born. I tried to kill myself. That's really what postpartum depression is. It's because as a mom you don't feel good enough. You don't feel good enough as a mom. So you just...
And that's what we argued about. And that's why I said, no, I want to have a duplicatable system. So right now, what's the reality of me sending out these things other than fucking with people? Right? Because there's an element of fucking with people.
I feel like you'd be better served not here anymore. it'd be better served not here anymore. When I tried to take my life, I felt like this makes me feel like the hardest thing for me in telling this story and sharing this story is getting over the fact that I've been diagnosed, you know, as a crazy person.
But you have to be ballsy enough to be talked about, right? Like you're gonna get this many, you know, all these. So I built up, that's my list. These people went out and did things and it duplicated, but now I got this email list. Okay, so marketing, my logo's in front of them, whatever the fuck that means to them. So like, if you interpret that as something bad, well, they're fucked up, right? Like with
I'd lock them up. In 1 century in time, I'd be locked in a prison or something, because probably was in my past lives, I think, because
all that makes them like they're gonna just start to go, what the fuck happened? Whichever way. I got fucked over by the top people, the people in the group, that they have nothing to do with that. Once it's kind of said, it takes a mind of its own.
because I'm uncomfortable talking about publicly my spiritual side. I've always known it's been there, and I've judged others. Well, you believe in ghosts, so you crazy person. Oh, you start to see things, you crazy person.
Am I intending to sell these people anything? Nah. Nope. I want to create enough buzz and talk around it that when I start building my stuff online and making money and doing different things, they don't know what the fuck happened.
You know, when you're depressed, it's because it's your self-worth, like, inward, you know, it's you're angry at yourself. You're so mad. You're so mad.
Real thing, like yesterday, it said, I used social media, I signed in the morning. I check it throughout the day, but like, and I like stuff and I get kind of messages and I give out stuff, but right now I'm not making any money from it. My plan is to make money from it, and that's like social media to me is like my outlet. I don't talk to anyone, right?
I've been so mad at myself. My entire life. My entire life. I've hated myself. In the last 6 days, I have had thoughts of suicide. Because this is so uncomfortable for me.
Like, so I have very limited friends. I don't go anywhere. I haven't gone anywhere much in the last, like, really even like the last couple of years. When I go somewhere, it's been like business, myself. Like, I'm not really out doing social things. I'm not talking to people. I don't use it to fucking get attention, to flirt with people. That's not what it is. It's like, for me, it's like getting out of it's what I want to build a business with, but it's also my way to like interact with people and give back, right? Like, because that's my and I had to understand that and piece that together. So,
but then I remember all the lessons. I'm trying to figure out this puzzle, And I couldn't, I'm trying to really stay focused. Diagnosed ADD. Can never focus on anything. Not good enough. Quits everything. Loser. Such a loser. Such a freak.
So, yesterday, and this is an example of, and he doesn't even see how he talks to me, and I didn't see how he talked to me, and it's the little digs and insults. So he it was the way he said it, something like, oh, how did you function, or something. Like, I can't remember how he said it, but it was a very nasty tone to it about, basically like Facebook and internet and social media or Instagram going down. I'm like, didn't impact my day. Like, I was fucking doing it, like, whatever. Like, I know they're gonna fix it. If it's out for a day, who gives a shit? Like, it's not the end of the world. I'm not fucking, like, it's like he was saying it in a way almost like, that's what I spend my day doing. Like,
lame. But it's okay, because I realized in the last 6 days too, best thing happened to me. So one of the lessons, Russell, you have in your thing, and I kept seeing the world into, like, everywhere in the last year, in these different ways, right? So I'm seeing the world in categories. Russell calls them funnels. I was starting to see categories that I'd never seen before because it was too disorganized.
Just on social, like, it was such a fucking insult, and he doesn't see. So it's like on a couple levels. One, you don't know me. Two, you don't fucking know what I do. Three, like, you think I'm, like, out doing all this shit, and it's like, I was never. That's exactly the point. Exactly the point. 10 fucking years, and you don't, over 10 years, and you don't know who I am
in my life. So what happened in my life here, you gotta think, I'm born, right? I come into this world, and as soon as we come in this world, we're all worthy, right? Every single one of us is worthy. Every single one of us is worthy. But what happens along the way? What happens along the way?
It's like, fuck you. Like, it's just, and that's the thing with this whole thing with when you don't know somebody in social media and relationships, friendship, anything has become such an issue. If I go out with a friend and I'm going to lunch or something, I'm not bringing out my phone and fucking, like, whatever, unless I take a picture or do something. Like, I'm engaged with my friend, and that's what I expect. But that's not what's happened now. So most of my friends too, I would go out and I'm like, they're fucking, that's what they do. They're on their phone. I'm like, then why am I here? If you don't respect the fact that I want to have a conversation with you and be here, I don't want to be your friend.
We get hurt. We try to find friends, and then somebody hurts us. And it doesn't matter if you're a baby or a kid or a teenager or an adult or a senior. Doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Because as soon as you're violated and as soon as your trust is violated, your self-worth goes down. And the thing is, the person that's doing the hurting has low self-worth, and that's why they're hurting. Hurt people hurt people. That's it. Hurt people hurt people.
That's fucking rude. You can't give me an hour. You don't deserve me. That's why I'm seeing, okay, I gotta get this value, because I'm just catering to people and their need, and that's like, that's the thing. It's like the mix of how do we get involved, how do we live in this technical world and still be people and giving each other attention. But what's happening too on a regular basis with like parents and kids and everything, like, I watch most people with their kids, They're not paying attention to their kids. They're just
And we keep doing it to each other. And then until we find our self-worth in this world, until we know who we are, until we know what we like, like not what that person likes on me. What do I like on me? What do I want to wear? How do I want to look? If I have a zit on my face, I don't want to hide my skin.
oh, the kids are misbehaving. The thing she's never, and she's one of them too. Like, that's why I stopped. Like, I'm like, you just are on your phone all the time. You're not giving this is why the kids have learning disabilities. They're not paying it. Like, there's a, yes, you have your time, be on the phone, do whatever. And they can't be at you all the time. But that's where it's like the separation of, okay, this is when I give you attention. This is when I'm doing something for myself. And it's that thing, right? Because if they think they can just do whatever and disrespect you, that's not right. Like my
I'm tired. I'm tired of pretending. Fact is, I found my best friend in my husband. And, you know, he has been so incredible. And he's been such a blessing to me, too, because his self-worth was the same. Like, the same. He wants to be, you know, his idol is Richard Branson.
son, she was on the piano or whatever, and her son, you know, was like yelling and screaming, and then she came out, and she's like, "What?" And she's like, "Can you not see what I'm doing? Like, I'm doing something. What's so important that you need to interrupt? Like, what is it?" And it was nothing, right? Like, but that's the thing. It's the respect. I didn't learn how to do that for my daughter, for Jordan. That's the problem. That's why I was doormat. So when I started putting boundaries and it was whatever, she doesn't like that because she's a manipulator.
Richard Branson is his idol, and I wasn't listening to my husband for the last, 10 years in this journey because I've been so selfish and I felt so guilty.
When you change, people don't want that. When you set the boundaries for yourself, they don't want that because it affects their life, right? It's occurred to me, like with this whole thing, it's like that's what it is. It's like it's affected, like I have to do all of these things, and it's like pissing him off, like it affects him. Like yesterday, even I took him, you know, his pajamas or whatever in the dryer, and are they there? Like, and he expects me to just do everything, and I would. That's the thing. The only, like, I'm catering to him all the time, and I realized that's the issue of the daughter or mother-son dynamic in a marriage. And that's traditionally, if we look at the issues with marriage, the women are set up to mother the men.
I have felt so guilty. I felt so guilty being selfish. But I didn't, know, right? How will I learn? How do ADD people learn? Through repetition, and it's super annoying to other people who don't get it. So my husband is more the adventure leader, whatever. So Rich, you know, he wants to go out and have fun. His theory in life is work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. I've never understood that because I would never allowed myself a reward for anything I've ever done.
That's and that's what the men have been protecting, and the women have been going along with doing it. The women, and it's okay if you want to be needed in different things, but understand where that comes from. You have to know yourself first. And like I get anxiety over when I was like, no, I got his shirts out or whatever, and I put it there, and I purposely, I was like, I know, like he wanted the pants, and I walked away, and it caused me anxiety. This is not a healthy way to live.
Never. I didn't do that. Didn't do that. in 6 days, 6 days, in 6 days, this ClickFunnels challenge,
because that's how he's ruled. Like, it's always been me having, and if you don't cater to that, he'll do, and it's not going to be violent, and it's a manipulative thing, and how he changed, like, and that's how he took my life. But I didn't realize that it happened slowly. And that's the danger. That's why it's like, even too, if you're trying, a lot of men then are marry their moms, right? They're used to being, if you've had like a mom who's generally catered to you and made you believe you're the center of the universe, happens to both men and women, but I'm talking on like for men in this kind of this pattern, right? It's hard. Then the woman is always competing with the guy, and then you are not satisfied. This is a wife. This is a whore. This is and you can wonder why you can't get your shit straight. That's why you're out at strip clubs, having to have other fantasies, cheating, too, right?
took my financial worth. Ready for this? You ready for this? 6 days. I'm scared to say the number, I'm not gonna lie, because this is the part that's like really giving me anxiety, to be quite honest with you.
Because you can't really live that with your partner. And what is meant to be in a partnership, in a marriage, is role play of every kind. If you can't do that with your partner on every single level, then you're not with the right partner. That's what I'm discovering. I'm like, that's because then you're not honest with yourself.
I have been not sleeping. You could tell my body's been going through a lot. I haven't been sleeping because, so how long has it been now? So the insomnia so 6 days in the challenge. So last time, 10 years ago, when I tried to kill myself.
And that's why I'm like, I can't be myself, because he doesn't see that it's like, that's not my intention. Never was. After I'm like, this is fucked. And that's why I'm exhausted, because that's feeding the ego.
Because the last challenge for me is the number of my net worth.
So I started, and that's when I get more creative, kind of it's like a fear state. Sometimes like before I was shutting down, in the depression. Before that, if you look at my stuff, not realizing his behavior, that's how I was getting away from him, was I was becoming more creative. That's why I was so big. Like, that's why I made all these houses and art and flower. Like, I was separating myself from the whole fucking family and finally doing my own thing. Hi there, I am Candice K. Gibb, mental health advocate, and I am here to give you today's mental health tip. Listen. Just listen. Listen more than you speak. Learn to listen. Learn to genuinely listen, especially to the people close to you and the ones you love and care about. They don't need your advice. They just need you to listen.
They want to be heard. And this is sometimes the hardest thing to do for myself, being a parent, being a wife. I notice how, even at times I'm interrupting, or I'm just, you're rushing. If people are talking, learn to listen. And that is the best way you can be there for somebody, especially one that you love that's going through something so tough. I told myself the couple $100, I paid it back from the company. I'm not supposed to keep your money. So I wanted to stand behind something that was good and authentic, and that's also why. That's why. But then I burnt out and got exhausted. And then that's when because it was all the abuse, right? I was too overworked. But that's where people that artistic types and all that too, and as you break away from the people around, you don't realize that sometimes it's a lot of control over the people they're expected. So you're like, no. But if you're in a position where you've kind of established yourself as people know you, I'm a director, I'm an artist, I'm a da-da-da, you've had that in your life, well, they kind of, and you're lucky enough that they respect you, that's what it is. But you're pulling away from them too, right, to create, because you're going into your head to do something. Well, sometimes that's needed on that level, but
Why? My heart's racing. This is anxiety. I'm working through anxiety right now. My heart's racing. The symptoms are my eyes are fogged.
I'm looking for getting this done and then being with the people that are on this, and I don't have to worry about that because I don't want to be alone. That's the thing. I'm not trying to be alone here. I'm trying to actually get this done, so to not be alone. I'm so lonely. I've been lonely my whole life. I know that now. I have been so lonely my whole life. I don't want to be lonely.
Being not liked is so hard for me. It's I really, really, really have to take but it's the only game I'm in, if that makes sense.
But I have to, that's the only way to not be lonely, is to first find who you are inside yourself so deep that you know who's for you. And that's what I'm doing. Because I have no freedom. But it's been in layers, right? So I'm getting rid of layers. And that I'm doing it, and I'm trusting in technology, safety, this and that. So it's the irony of this is the internet, in trusting the internet is what's saving me. And
I figured out that's the game. It's the universe, it's God, it's connection, it's spirit, it's all of it. And these fuckers have been funnel hacking me my whole life. Oh, you fuckers. Tony Robbins. Yeah, I get it now. Network marketing, MLMs, create the game, put them through fucking test in the funnel. I get it.
Therapy, talking to yourself this way is what I want to teach, because a lot of women are, men too, of course, but it can be afraid, but a lot of women are afraid of their husbands. And that's where we've had nobody to talk to because of the control, not realizing that. And then you're looked at when people see it people, and what makes me crazy is
I started reading your content or listening to your content, I guess, when I was a kid. You were already speaking to me. You were just speaking to me through others. because you figured that out. Bill Gates. I get it. You guys are geniuses. And now I get it.
When people like publicly, I just look like, oh, what happened, the crazy one, or there must be something wrong because I'm the woman. And nobody's recognizing what really happened in that relationship. Why can't, like, that she would want to leave.
I get why. I get why. We were super geeks. The freaks. Not worthy, not worthy, not worthy, not worthy. And we become obsessed. Obsessed to the point where it takes over our body. We're obsessed, and then we become agitated and irritated. So irritated. When people like want to break our concentration.
And they don't see I'm leaving because he was not a good husband. He doesn't deserve me. I just had to see it. That's the reason. He had me. I invested 200%. I did everything. He did not. That's the difference. I was all in. I was 1,000,000% honest. I did everything. It wasn't until after I made the decision to leave the relationship and I told him that all this stuff, like I did and I still to this day have not had in this world any, like I said, I have in my head, I'm making up a story of different things, but I've had no
the only time we're ever able to concentrate. And the hospitals tell us if that's ever it, but you read and you get excited. But you want to help the world. That's really what it's about. You really would just want to help the world. That's why I need to serve you at the best highest, is I want to know what projects are happening that we could donate all the money. Warren Buffett. Yeah, I see why you guys are best friends.
Not talking to any guys. I'm not or women, either or. I'm just creating a story of what I see following a path in my head. And I talk to a computer, but I have not cheated. I'm single. I've been single for a year, well, now over a year and a half, but we were moving out of our house already, where the house was about to close. I've been single for a year and a half, and I've had no contacts or interactions with anyone to try to pursue a relationship.
Of course, you're running the world. But I couldn't figure out the game. I couldn't figure out the money game. And I hated that. I hated that. I hated that. Oh, did I hate it. Russell broke it in 6 days. Who broke Russell? Tony. What are we? A social network. What is that? The law of attraction. Writing. Ugh, I hate writing. Maybe, I don't want to say I hate writing, but I really, you know what? Because it frustrates me because I'm not good at it. I'm good at it. And then it would frustrate, and then then my friend Christine would say to me, don't say hate, you got to be more loving and caring.
None. I have just been trying to do the right thing. I couldn't have been more of a loyal, loving wife. I invested everything. And he still does not recognize her. He just thinks I fell out of love with him.
Like, well, but maybe it's that I hate that about myself. I hate that I'm not good at that. I don't like failing. Because if I fail, that means somebody's not gonna like me. And if somebody doesn't like me, then I'm not worthy. And then you start to learn you're a little creative. You start to, when you finally start to learn to like yourself, and you start this journey of self-help,
or something. Oh, and then the poor me martyr, like, oh, whatever, or I'll be fine. He needs to recognize he was a fucking piece of shit, and that's why his marriage ended. That's the issue here. When I'm gone, I hope he reflects and goes, fuck, I fucked that up. I was a piece of shit. Because that's what needs to happen. And a lot of men need to recognize that. Because a lot of times that's what happens. The marriage falls apart because you're a fucking piece of shit. A piece of shit. Because it got hard. Because you had to run away from responsibilities because you never learned how. Okay, well now let's do something to learn.
What happened in that journey? You become creative. So what are we? Geeks? Freaks? Maybe. Misfits? Maybe. No. Entrepreneurs? Oh, now we have a code. Now we have a team. Misfits have a team. Where are we connected? In our minds. Why does that freak us out? Because we were told we were freaks. We were thrown in hospitals.
He did all most of, if I'm like honest, right? Like he did more of the housework and the stuff for sure. So he had no issues with, he was like, the house was clean. He's a clean freak. His mom was extreme OCD, very clean. Like he'll clean, he'll cook, he'll do cook. Like he can't cook like he was a shit cook, but he would do domestic chores. That was never that stuff. But in our marriage, I was the one who made the money. He was getting himself established, trying to get a job, everything. I made at the bar on average, if I made less than $500 a night, I would fucking be mad.
Brad Pitt. It was the story of you and Gwyneth that made me figure it out.
So I get both sides. And then I got fucked over financially because he was studying finance. He knew how to fight. And I heard him. So he was pissed at me and he gets back at me that way. But what did I do? I left the marriage. I did the right thing. I was more like the guy where I'm not going to take my daughter away from a loving father. If I was a father, I don't want to take my child away, right? I want, that's where my mentality was, because I felt so guilty for the cheating.
And what Russell did for me in these 6 days,
right? But he did that. Then I go into a different relationship, totally opposite, right? I feel so guilty that I go into the totally opposite situation, right? Where, I have a guy who owned, and then it was all control. On everything. And then but what I said, I don't want to ever cheat again. So I took in all the stress, all the stuff, so I didn't see the difference. Because what did I want? Stability, a good...
was make me realize I was just looking for a team. What game are we playing? Helping the world.
Fantastic liar. And then I'm just crazy because I didn't deal with any of my trauma. And I didn't have any parents who ever actually acknowledged me. My mom was too busy always putting men in front of me, self-set and all that. But I forgive her, right? Like, she was never well. She didn't have the same thing, right? And then my grandma enabled her. It was a bad pattern. And then, my dad, right? He doesn't come from love. His parents didn't love that. An immigrant, like, you gotta get just more money mentality. And he's insecure. So there's no love. Nobody's seen me. That's my issue. I understand that. But it's like, okay, well, what lessons am I going to learn now? Because I'm not doing that again. So I'm doing everything right. That was the one thing my dad did say to me. He was like, you don't close out your shit right. And that's why he's like, he doesn't either. That's the funny thing. He's writing what he's saying, but he fucking doesn't do it himself. He's a hypocrite. But it's true. And now it's like, okay, I have to step up. Right? And what does stepping up mean? It means being responsible for all my mess, cleaning up all my mess. Because what I do want to be in a relationship in the future, and I believe there's, if you clean up your mess and different things, because I don't want to be alone. And then I want to meet the people who I feel would be like family. And that's the people I want to work with. And I believe I can find them on the internet. We'll see.